Guys, I am here with ESPN contributor Emily Rand and Tyler Erzberger from ESPN.com. What's going on, guys? How you feeling?
Good.
Pretty good.
We're going to do some power rankings.
I'm very
as
interested
we
to see
always
what
do.
you guys are.
I love angering fan bases.
Is that what's going to happen?
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
All right, well, let's go ahead and get into it. So we asked you guys to give us your top 10 power rankings heading into 2019 season. Let's start with you, Emily. What does your power ranking look like?
All right, so I have London at #1, New York at #2.
Safe.
I think the most contentious one is probably going to be Gladiators at 3, Philly at 4, and then Valiant at 5, I think is also contentious. After that, it gets very hairy,
Love the
where I have
California
a
teams.
lot of favoring of the Pacific region because when I look at a lot of these lineups coming together. So something I look at when I'm evaluating teams, especially going into the beginning of the season, is pre-existing synergy. So you notice a lot of the teams at the top of my ranking have that pre-existing synergy. I actually really like the Gladiators pickups. I know people think they could be shaky without Fissure, but I do like their moves. And then also the reason why I have Valiant so high up, I know some people on the broadcast weren't as high on them because of some moves they made. However, I still think they have that tank line, and that tank line is so important. I don't know if it's still going to be GOATS comps or if we're still going to be having a lot of these like tank and support lines being super heavily focused, but I do think that that tank line makes a huge difference for me when I look at the
still
value.
fate and space,
Yeah,
too.
exactly.
Exactly. So I have to ask you, I noticed that you have the Shanghai Dragons down here at #10. What was a little bit of the thinking
Well,
behind
now that I know their week 1 schedule, I wish I hadn't put them there because they're actually going up against Vancouver and Hangzhou week 1, it looks like. So that's going to be tough for them. I do like it, though. It's basically a Kongdu plus Dia, Fearless, and Gegurdi. So if they can get together, again, like that pre-existing synergy, what I'm looking for from Shanghai is actually from Kongdu and not the existing Shanghai 3, although, you know, obviously they have synergy with each other.
Okay, so if we're going off of pre-existent synergy, how does the Houston Outlaws not make the top 10? Because they pretty much have the same
I'm really
roster.
shaky in the Atlantic, to be quite honest. Like I was looking at that region, and I'm a little iffy on some of those lineups. That's a fair question, though. Yeah,
Okay.
they didn't make it for me.
All right, okay, so I think this is respectable. So we're gonna go ahead and move on. Tyler, what about you?
Let's see the damage.
Okay.
First off, let
Wow.
me say I am officially banned from San Francisco. I will never be allowed
no
in that
shock?
city. There is no shock. But let's look at #7. So I see a lot of doubters here about the Shanghai Dragons. 0-40, sure. But Twitch chat, talking to you, Twitch. Come here. Let me tell you a story about Carpe Diem. 2 young lads. Everyone knows Carpe.
Yes.
The beautiful superstar of the Philadelphia Fusion. As a young boy playing, online games for the first time, he met another boy named Diem. They played video games, gained a friendship, but as a lot of, video game relationships do, they departed, went to new games. But when Overwatch was finally released, the two came back together, they found each other, and they picked their own nicknames. They said, I'll be Carpe, I'll be Diem. If you didn't know, that means seize the day.
Right.
That's so anime, even Hangzhou Spark are jealous. I mean...
It is. It is.
And if watching sports anime alone on Fridays ever, taught me anything, I think we're ready for a Shanghai, Philadelphia stage final, semifinal.
So that's why the Shanghai Dragons are #7 on your power ranking.
The story's cute, but the team itself has improved, I think, a lot. I think a lot of people have the stigma of, oh, wow, they were 0-40. They must be terrible, but they kept the players that they needed to keep, and I think that the additions that they made with Kongdu Panthera, that bringing those players on, I think they're a really strong team. And I think as the season goes along, we're going to see Diem pop off, and I think he might be as good as Carpe.
Okay, well, I like to see the Shanghai Dragons getting a little bit of respect and love, even after that season last year. But which team do you guys think will surprise people next year? Kind of like the Boston Uprising. Which team do you think is the sleeper here in the Overwatch League?
I'm going going to go with either the Chengdu Hunters because I do like. So yeah, I know a lot of people are not high on this lineup, but I do like the fact that they've stuck with the all-Mandarin roster. And again, like something I consider very highly is if you have pre-existing synergy, if you're able to communicate.
Yes.
Overwatch is heavily reliant on communication. I think that's actually super important. With the transition coming over to the US, you know, it could be difficult for them, the fact that they all speak the same language culturally. I think that could help them out. So maybe, hopefully they'll improve through the season. And then I'm also looking at Paris.
Okay.
I think their lineup is really interesting, the all EU roster. And I also like the fact that they're in what I would consider to be a slightly weaker division.
Oh, okay. All right. I am looking at Paris, though. I think they're going to be sleepers. What about you, Tyler?
She stole my answer in Chengdu. I think Chengdu is a really good team. If you don't know, they're partly owned or run by Royal Never Give Up, which is a big Chinese organization, probably one of the biggest in China when it comes to esports. And they're very much building around Chinese talent. They want to have a team that can communicate and know how to play together. So I think Chengdu, while they might start slow, I think as the season goes along, I think we're going to see a lot of talent blossoming. And I'm just really happy to see Bacon Jack back. For my boy Xander Torres out there, Taiwanese journalist, he thought that, you know, the Taiwanese seed was dead. Everyone left. They all went to, you know, different games, but Bacon Jack...
He's back. Welcome home, Bacon Jack. Welcome home.
PUBG.
All right, real quick, guys. I need your predictions for Champions 2019. Just give it to me. Quick predictions.
I want NYXL. Come on. They can do it
All right,
this
what
time.
about you, Tyler?
It's got to be Vancouver. Runaway. The dream is real.
All right.
The dream is real.
Well, Emily and Tyler, thank you so much for joining us. We're going to go ahead and send things back over to the desk.
All right, thank you so much, Malik. I got to get your thoughts here. We saw Gladiators in the top 3 of some lists. We saw the Spitfire, NYXL. Who's your top 3 after looking at all 20 lineups? Starting with you, Brent.
My top 3 teams.
Top 3 teams.
Bloody hell. I'm looking, it's such a difficult ask. Oh my God. London, New York Excel. I'm going to go Vancouver.
Vancouver, number 3. Josh?
I would go for, it's so difficult at this point, but I'm just going to go on history. I would go London Spitfire, NYXL, and Philadelphia Fusion. But those are probably not going to be the top 3, but at this point, that's what you have to go for.
So, I want to ask the same question Malik did. Who is going to be that underdog team that comes in and makes a big name in 2019?
See, that's also a hard one because there's a lot of teams in these lists where we just don't really know what they can do. I guess a big surprise is going to be, I don't know. I mean, Justice, if they win a game, I'm going to be super happy. I don't know. We don't know. Okay, I had to spice it up a bit.
We're getting a little too spicy.